they'll never forget the tuck rule. And then, of course, they went into Pittsburgh and they beat a very good and a very solid Pittsburgh Steelers team in 2001. I do believe that was the year they were like 14-2 or something like that, 15 and one, and the
So,
Patriots went in there and won that.
so
So that was
Sean,
an amazing game.
what is that one defining moment that makes up Tom Brady to you? What if you had to just give it like a 10-second moment in time, in history, that one microcosm of what illustrated Tom Brady to you, what would that be in your mind?
I think maybe it's just the fact that the moments that I think that are so great about this quarterback, about Tom Brady, is that you just know you don't see any quit from him. You know, he's like Larry Bird, okay, in a way, because Larry Bird, he never quit until the clock hit triple zeros. Tom Brady was the same way. He doesn't give up, and this man will not tolerate losing anyway. He hates losing. He wants to win every time he takes the field on
Okay.
a Thursday night, on a Sunday, or on a Saturday.
All right. So, the thing is that these guys have become massive amounts of legend. At this point, Tom Brady and Peyton Manning are going to be thought about on even their road to Canton. I imagine there's even going to be a nice little video sitting aside talking about Brady versus Manning when they're both get into Canton. It looks like Manning will probably be there maybe a few years before Tom Brady, but at the end of the day, we have two great sports historical legends right here, and we're going to be watching for the last time in a very short period of time these two square off. I know it's not official. Nobody said, "Oh, we're retiring at the end of the year," but everybody in their mom could see that Peyton Manning's arm is about as strong as a wet noodle these days, and that if he has any prayer of coming back next year, it's going to be not only with God's help, but about 35,000 other people trying to put this man back together. And Humpty Dumpty just could not be put back together in this case. But we got a lot going on with this particular game. And Matt, I got a question for you. This is one of the reasons I wanted to bring you guys in on this is because Matt recently had the Kansas City Chiefs playing the New England Patriots, and his team was eliminated by Tom Brady this weekend. However, we also have a strong Tom Brady fan right here in the house. And I got a question. Matt, if you could have taken Tom Brady out of that game somehow, do you believe at that point that the Kansas City Chiefs, without a question in your heart, win that game?
Yeah, of course.
Then we wouldn't have Brady versus Manning for the last time. It just wouldn't have happened. Because
Look, and I want to say this, that's one thing. Patriots fans aside, who can be very arrogant. Not you, Sean, but a lot of Patriots fans definitely are. You guys have won for a long time. I get it. The one thing I want to give credit to is, yes, if you take Brady out of that game, of course, he executed a great game plan. He got the passes off very well. If anything, his receivers didn't catch some of the passes. But he played very well, and that is why when you go in there, look, and I talked about this last night, going in there to beat, and this is why they're so good. You have to play perfect football to beat them in Gillette Stadium against Tom Brady. You have to. If you go, they don't have to play perfect football. They can make some mistakes and still win. But to beat them, you have to play perfect football or you're not going to. You give a turnover up, you might as well surrender the game because they'll capitalize. He will take advantage of all of those things. They're extremely prepared. They know the game of football. They're used to winning. They know how to win games, and they know how to come in, and they don't get intimidated. And the one thing I really want to give the team credit for is I watched a video of them after the game. They weren't jumping up and down. They weren't ecstatic. It was another day at the office. They were very humble about it. Okay, good game. Let's go. We got another. And they even said, I listened to Belichick's thing. Hey, we beat a great football team out there today, guys. We were the better team today, and that's a great team, and pat yourself on the back that you got out of this game, and let's focus and go on to the next one. And that was it. And they started changing.
Yeah, Matthew, I have to say that what's amazing about it, too, is I had posted on Facebook. I had replied to tags. I get tagged a lot by really wonderful people from the Boston and New England area, even though I live here in Idaho. But, of course, they know me as a lifelong Bostonian sports fan. But, one of the things I said the team I want to go up against would be Kansas City. Why? Because there are a couple factors. I remember 15 months ago, the Kansas City Chiefs blew out the New England Patriots, 41-14, worst game in Tom Brady's career. And then I remember saying, the Chiefs are the hottest team in the NFL. And that's why I said I wanted to have the Chiefs go up to Foxborough because there was a lot at stake for both teams. And New England and Kansas City had never met in their history in the playoffs. But like Belichick said, it was a heck of a football team that the Patriots played. And I have to tell you, it was not an easy game on Sunday. But I have to, I know, Nash, you're probably going to ask me this question, but I'll already answer it for you. Probably the biggest heartbreak in the Brady-Manning rivalry, if I could go back to it. Well, there's a couple. The 2006 AFC Championship game, Patriots had a commanding 21-3 lead. It looked like they were very well on their way heading to the Super Bowl to go up against the Bears and have a rematch of the 1985 Super Bowl when the Bears, of course, demolished the Patriots. And I know Patriot fans listening in right now don't want to hear that. But that one, and then, of course, another tough one for me was the 2013 AFC Championship game. But you got to remember, it's just like the hard thing about Denver is that it is a hostile environment when you go there. And you got to also deal with the altitude. But two great quarterbacks. Tom Brady mentioned that even though they're rivals, they text on the phone. They're very, very good friends. But when it comes to playing on the field, it's a different story about who's going to throw the game-winning pass. How close is the game going to be? Will it be a blowout? It's just amazing when you think about the stats that the Pats are 11-5 against the Patriots are 11-5 against Manning.
Yeah. But some interesting things that I saw that came out here. They are 8-2 at home in Foxborough. On the road, it's an even, I think, 3-3. I'm pretty sure. So on the road, they have a much fairer record than they do. I mean, it's weighted heavily when they're in Foxborough.
Indeed, and I have to say, Matthew, that that when it comes to it, too. And Nash, you have a very good point about this, too. And even on our show, The Sports Drive, Frank brings up a very good point that when it comes to playing in Gillette Stadium, you can't make one single solitary mistake. You make a mistake in that stadium, it's going to come back and haunt you. And that was a fumble that doomed the Kansas City Chiefs. They were on the verge of making this maybe a game that was going to go all the way down to the wire. And then what ends up happening? A fumble is the key turning point of the game. The Patriots capitalize. Brady to Gronk, touchdown, and it's 21-6. You just can't make mistakes.
That ended the game. Yeah, that essentially ended the game.
Let's see what kind of ability you two gentlemen have. Matt, I want you to advocate for Tom Brady for a second. Sean, I want you to advocate for Peyton Manning. And
are you?
Hold on. Listen to this. This is great because here's the thing. These guys have a legacy. One is being the greatest regular season quarterback of all time. Peyton Manning has broken almost every regular season and longevity record of any quarterback in the history of the NFL. Now, Tom Brady, on the other hand, has all these wonderful championships and stuff like that. But here's the thing. Brady's known for his cheating, and Peyton Manning is known for not being able to win the big game. I want you guys to advocate why those things don't matter for the quarterback which I just assigned you to. Matt, tell us why Tom Brady is not necessarily a cheater and that should not be part of his legacy.
Well, sure. You can't cheat when – I mean, look, it's really difficult to cheat when you're the quarterback of a football team. Sure, you can gain a small edge, but you're out there in front of millions of people. You can't I mean, you can't throw the ball any harder. There's nothing that's going to make you cheat to do that. There's nothing that's going to make you cheat and get reads faster or read a defense. I mean, you have to be prepared. So cheating aside, there's not a whole lot that they can do, cheating wise to up his physical ability and his ability when he's in game, even knowing the play. Even if you were, let's say, to know the play, you still have to execute that play, make the reads, and get it to the right guy. And that takes a physical prowess that is not, that most people don't have. Or here's the thing, everyone would be doing it. And we don't see that. We don't see everyone doing the things that he does. So clearly, he's in a league of his own as far as physical prowess, football knowledge, leading an offense, and understanding the game of football and where to get the ball to. And that is not something that's easy to do. I mean, look at all the quarterbacks that absolutely fail at that very thing. And that's what they have to do. That's their job, and they don't do it very well. So, and I think Tom Brady goes in to Denver, and I think he comes out with a win. He if he executes the same way he did against the Chiefs, and Denver has a similar offense, right? If you can't get pressure on them because they're getting the ball out quick, it essentially nullifies that front of Denver, and now you're relying on their secondary, which is is not, I would say, not better than the Kansas City Chiefs with Sean Smith and Marcus Peters and Eric Berry. So essentially, they're going to turn it into that same kind of game. You get the ball out, and it nullifies that pass rush, and they're probably going to score a decent amount of points. So the question becomes, can Peyton Manning put enough points on them to outscore Brady? And I just don't think that's going to happen, even in Denver.
So basically, what I heard from you, Matt, is that, hey, there might be certain areas where they have gone into the gray area to get the edge on certain places of competition. But like in baseball with the steroid era, you still have to hit a round ball with a round bat to make it actually happen in the first place. And I think that's a great argument. Let's go to Sean for a second. Sean, go ahead and give us your argument as to why Peyton Manning that people should overlook the fact that he's had some difficulties in the big games.
This was a great assignment that you gave me to Nash and Matt. And, of course, I'm going to ask you both a question after I give you my response about Peyton Manning, which I'm going to do right now. Peyton Manning does not get it done in the clutch. In order for him to beat the New England Patriots, he has to keep Tom Brady off the field. He has to run his Omaha. He has to, even though I'm so sick of hearing Omaha, but I can tell you that Peyton Manning knows the time is catching up with him. He knows that he's going to be 40 years old on March 24th. He knows that it's Super Bowl or bust for this Denver Broncos team. In order for Denver to win the game, they're going to need to move the ball down the field. They're going to need to do their job and try to keep their crowd into the game. Peyton Manning doesn't do it, then I'd have to say he's the laughingstock quarterback of Denver. Look what we have seen from the 3 years that he's been there with Denver. The first year, 2012, AFC Divisional Playoff game. They lost to Baltimore 38-35 in double overtime, and arguably
Hold on, Sean. You're making the wrong point, and I really appreciate what you're trying to do here. So I guess I got to cut to the chase. If Peyton Manning, with the noodle arm and basically being carried out to the field on a freaking stretcher, which is about what Tom Brady is these days. He's one hit away from being a quadriplegic with that dang neck issue of his. If Tom Brady is able to somehow, at this stage of his career, in front of the hugest of national audiences, with all the world watching in his final and absolute resolute situation, with all the odds stacked against him, if he is able to win this game, should all that be forgotten?
Are you asking about Peyton Manning?
Yeah, if this
no.
has got to be the biggest game of his career. He's basically holding his arm.
But
go ahead.
But Nash, the point is that, yeah, I understand what you're getting at, but I'm trying to tell you, Peyton Manning doesn't win the big games. We've seen it with Indianapolis. We've seen it with Denver.
You're missing the assignment. I gotta go to break. Go ahead and give us your updates, and we will right after your updates, we will hit the break, and we will come back shortly thereafter. Go ahead.
All right, welcome everybody to the update here on the sports show right now, as we got a lot of stuff to get to on this Tuesday night, as I'm going to try to, there we go, as we get to the NHL. Let's see. The Blackhawks beating the Predators 3-1. They're the hottest team right now in the NHL. Got a goal in the first period, 2 goals in the third, 2 goals in the second. Nashville got a goal in the first period as it's a 3-win game. You can watch that game on NBC Sportsnet.